ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some news tonight out of Austell, Georgia, where just a few weeks ago, the Georgia Cyclone closed forever at Six Flags Over Georgia, and now the focus has shifted from the once great Georgia Cyclone to the now closed Georgia Cyclone to now what's coming in its place. And there's been a couple of different teasers released by the park over the last few weeks, one of which we just got a day or two ago, which has a lot of people barking up several different trees. And from the reaction I've seen, none too happy about them. So we're going to talk about some of these. So Andy, why don't we go back to the first teaser, if you will, because as many know, I did go down to the Georgia Cyclone for its closing week. And after the Georgia Cyclone closed down, the entrance to the queue was boarded up with a couple of pieces of wood that had "Rest in Peace Georgia Cyclone" with the operational years and the Georgia Cyclone logo on it. And then there was also another that was pointing to the left towards Hurricane Harbor, saying Hurricane Harbor Water Park with the Hurricane Harbor logo on it. And some people found that a bit curious that they decided to point towards Hurricane Harbor. Some people thought that maybe there was, a hidden message there. It was also kind of featured. It was the last board they showed in the first teaser. We had sort of like the static TV, like almost like a storm was going through the area. So, okay, that's all well and good. That doesn't really give you a lot, though.
Well,
right?
the first thing I thought of when that went up is not so much Hurricane Harbor, but the word hurricane. Because
right.
Georgia Cyclone doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because I don't get the sense that Atlanta gets a lot of tornadoes down there. They're calling it Cyclone because it was a copy. It was a variation, not even a copy, a variation of the Coney Island Cyclone. And that's why they used the Cyclone name. Initially, if you go to, an RMC, Iron Horse project, which I think a lot of people just naturally assumed when it was closing, that's what it would be, that I think hurricane might be a better word, that Atlanta might not experience hurricanes, but I'll tell you what, they sure come pretty close.
But I think the word cyclone is safe, because if you look at Universal over the years, anytime there's a major tornado, Twister would close down for a few days, and anytime there's a major earthquake that caused a lot of damage, they would close down Earthquake for a few days, kind of out of respect. And Cyclone is a safe name because it doesn't. Nobody says, this town in Oklahoma got hit by a cyclone. Well, no, they got hit by a tornado. There's a lot less examples, I guess, of rides named Tornado or Hurricane or specifically named to what we refer to them. Cyclone is kind of more of a generic storm term, I guess, kind of like Storm. We see a lot of rides with the name Storm. We see the various Storm Chasers. We have Storm Runner. You see, Lightning Racer. You see Thunder Run. You see Lightning Run. You see Thunder Road, which is a defunct one. So you see some more generic, less in a world where everybody gets offended about everything. I think Cyclone is a slightly less offensive term to most people. It doesn't hit home as much as something like a hurricane would for someone who might have been devastated by a hurricane.
But there's plenty of rides called Hurricane out there. It's not like there's any shortage of hurricanes.
I understand that, but it would seem strange that they would change the name from Cyclone to Hurricane, Danny, or something.
There's an entire hockey team named the Hurricanes.
And they're not very good the last decade. I think they won the Stanley Cup right after Hurricane Katrina hit, and they haven't been good ever since.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's but so that was the first teaser. There's a lot of different ways that could have been taken. That could have been taken as a water park. That could have been hinted at a name. That could have just been like, hey, just a reminder, Georgia Cyclone closed down. It could have been that simple. Just the other day, we got another one, which the video is titled Project 2018 Spinning the Wheels. And I'm watching it right now. It's got some footage of the Georgia Cyclone, and it looks at the word hurricane on that board. Yeah. So again, that kind of supports your theory. And it's a bunch of people in a boardroom and an older gentleman talking about, hey, we need to think about Fright Fest. And while he's talking, the folks sitting at the conference table are playing with fidget spinners, which are all the rage this year, right? And
Yeah.
we see a couple of bright green ones. And then, we say, hey, we need to think about Fright Fest. And then, oh, there's a purple one. And what's this on the table? A Joker, Harley Quinn, and Batman bobblehead lined up in a row. The fidget spinners. And we see the bobble. Now, there is a portion where it does look like they have like a park map, but it's obscured by like the static. And it's hard to tell. There is a red circle on it, but it's hard to tell what it's not very clear at all. It's hard to tell what part of the park it is. I can only assume it's the Georgia Cyclone plot. It does, if I pause it at the right spot, it does look like it's kind of that area. But a lot of people immediately said, well, fidget spinners, the bobbleheads, the spinning the wheels, that sounds an awful lot like one of our beloved 4D free fly coasters that Six Flags has been parading to the various parks.
Well, I also think when you look at it, you have the colors of the fidget spinners. You have 2 green ones, 2 purple ones. That's traditionally the Joker, free flies that we've seen all over the place. The problem with this free fly is, though,
we said this several weeks ago when we talked about the rumor that Six Flags Over Georgia would be getting a free fly and why it wouldn't work.
Well, it's because they already have a Joker Chaos Coaster there, which is a Larson Loop. Mm-hmm. They also have a Joker Funhouse that they just rethemed their kiddie ride, which is...
in a different area of the park, mind you.
Yeah, in a different area of the park, which is probably the best kiddie coaster anywhere on the planet, by the way. It's really nice. They already have a Harley Quinn Spinsanity, tilt-a-whirl thing going on. And they also, of course, they have Batman the Ride. So it would seem that all 3 of those names have been taken up, pretty nicely. Some people also speculated that if you don't like the free fly idea, maybe you like the idea that these are going to be the colors of the RMC track. And I'm also going to say this to you, Danny. The way those fidget spinners are spinning remind me a lot of how a hurricane spins, too. So
yeah, I mean, it seems to fit along that lines. Now, what are the odds here? Because aside from the Joker Free Fly not Joker Free Fly, the Joker Funhouse coaster, which is really their only kiddie coaster, if you will, and it is a rather large one. It is pretty large, and that used to be the Wile E. Coyote Canyon Blaster, I think is what it was called, and it was rethemed when the DC Universe Kids area. The DC Super Friends, I think, is what it's called. That area kind of came to be. So that's fine. It kind of makes sense because you have one in Gotham, you have one in the kids area, and that makes sense. To have anything Joker themed, I think, would be very, very strange outside of those 2 areas, because now you've got Joker stuff in 3 different areas. To have anything Gotham really outside of those areas just would not make a whole lot of sense to me. So if we eliminate the fact that it's going to be Gotham villain or superhero themed, what are the odds that it's maybe like an actual Gerstlauer spinning coaster?
Here's the thing is I don't think that you would take down Georgia Cyclone to put up, just like a Pandemonium or something.
I don't think that's what's going on either.
I could see them putting in a free fly. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Do I think it's likely? No. You had mentioned maybe it's a flat ride package that when you have the 3 characters, you automatically go to what Six Flags Over Texas got last year with a few years ago with the 3 flat rides. I don't think those 3 flat rides fit in the front of the park though either. Like I think that would be very out of place to have no coasters in that section of the park. Like Georgia,
and it couldn't be the same package because they already have the Tilt-A-Whirl.
Yeah,
which is the same name, so it couldn't be the same 3 flat rides.
Yeah.
It would have to be a different set of flat rides.
And like I said, I don't think it fits in the front of the park there. It doesn't make sense. You need a coaster to anchor that section of the park. I think what we're seeing here is a lot of red herrings making people think that something else is coming. I still think this is going to be an RMC Iron Horse. I think they're trying to lead us down a path that this is basically going to be that, and they're trying to make us think it's something else to increase the element of surprise here. I would be absolutely shocked if it's a free fly. I'd be even more shocked if it's anything else. I think it's going to be an Iron Horse. It falls in line with what Six Flags does. I know you think it's funny because you want everyone else to experience your pain. The funny part is I still think a free fly is better than what Georgia Cyclone was. So there you go.
Well, that's because you're an idiot. But at any rate, so let's assume for a second that it is an Iron Horse, and maybe we'll leave it with this. Let's assume for a second that that is what we're getting, and we're getting an Iron Horse of Georgia Cyclone. Would that make Six Flags Over Georgia the definitive roller coaster park in the Six Flags chain? I think maybe Magic Mountain, because it's got a few unique offerings and it's still got the quantity, but I would think I already prefer the collection at Six Flags Over Georgia over the Six Flags Great Adventure lineup.
I'll tell you what, I think Six Flags Over Georgia has a very nice diverse collection. If you want different types of rides, you can get a lot of different types of rides there. I think the RMC only further diversifies that. You know, I think Magic Mountain has the best rides with X2 and Twisted Colossus are top tier rides. I also think, you know, Great America has a nice collection of diverse roller coasters. The problem is a lot of those aren't top-tier roller coasters.
Great America definitely has the best wood coaster collection of the chain, though, between Goliath, Viper, and American Eagle. And the Little Dipper. I would have to say that they probably have the best wood coaster collection.
Yeah, because people are seeking that out.
Oh man, I like how you just snarkily threw that in there. That was good. That was well played.
So you know, I think this helps over Georgia. I think it helps that place gets crowded a lot. It helps spread out the lines. People are going to want to ride this RMC. It's going to be another top tier ride. Whether it's, you know, top 30, top 50, it's still going to be within the upper half. It's going to be better than what Georgia Cyclone was. I've yet to be on an RMC that wasn't. So, you know, I'm excited for this. I really think that people are still freaking out way too soon about the free fly. Unless Georgia Cyclone is in that bad of shape that we don't know about, that they're going to tear it down and put in a free fly. I think that's the only.
I can't imagine it was in any worse shape than Rattler or Texas Giant
than any of the other ones, right? So I think it's still what we heard first, what we thought first is still the correct answer until we get more definitive proof on it. I can't say otherwise. So I think they're just screwing with us here.
Yeah, and that's entirely possible. We've seen Park screw with us before, so certainly could happen again.
So as always, we'll keep you updated here on all the. I'm sure we're going to get more teasers from Over Georgia here. It seems.
I would hope so.
So we'll keep you updated on what is going on here with Six Flags Over Georgia, and you know, completely awaiting that August 31st date to find out what everyone's getting at Six Flags. To be really exciting. So as always, I'm Andy Robarchek from Chicago, Illinois.
Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York.
And as always, ride on, ride Warriors.
See you guys.